But now Marvel is in a bad spot because today, the verdict came out in the Jonathan Majors trial, and he's guilty of 2 charges out of 4, and Marvel fired Kang the Conqueror. And now leads me to our feature story of the night. So speaking of breaking fucking news, everybody, breaking news. This actually just happened. I'm going to say that and actually realize I say breaking news like that because it's kind of funny to me because a lot of stuff happens throughout the day. But this is actually breaking. I changed the story before we came live because before I was watching, I kind of thought we would get some kind of verdict today, but it came out, they had 6 jurors, 3 men, 3 women, they had 2 alts, and they had 3 days of deliberations. They had, 2.5. They did Thursday, they had part of Friday, and then they had all day today. And they came forward and they said, yes, Jonathan Majors is guilty. He's guilty of 2 counts. Guilty of 1 count of 3rd-degree assault and 1 count of 2nd-degree harassment. Now, he was acquitted of a couple of counts. He's acquitted of 2 other counts of assault and aggravated harassment. So it was a split verdict overall. But, both counts are misdemeanors, and he will be tried, or he will actually get his sentencing on February 6th. And at that point, we'll find out if there will be any jail time. Honestly, he's a first offense offender.
So he probably on the wrist.
And he's rich as fuck.
He'll probably get a slap on the wrist. You're right, GR. Probably get a slap on the wrist. He probably won't get jail. Probably get some community service, and that'll be that. Now, the biggest problem that came down for him is Marvel's reaction. And I think we talked about this before the show came on. They probably had something out there they were kind of trying to figure out beforehand. Oh, I thought I was on this slide. They probably had something before where they thought, well, if this happens, we got our paperwork ready to go. Let's just put it out there. He's fired. We're done. But Marvel did come out pretty swiftly being like, we're parting ways with Jonathan Majors. Now, the jury didn't believe a couple things. The jury did not believe that he intentionally committed aggravated harassment against her in the SUV. It wasn't intentional, but it happened. They also think, which again, I can see that kind of. I mean, they watched that video over and over again of her being thrown in the car. He was saying that he was trying to get her out of traffic. That's why he threw her so aggressively in the car before he ran away. I don't know, but they didn't believe that he was, it was intentionally happening. And they also did not believe that he harassed her outside the vehicle by picking her off the ground. But I mean, but throwing her in, that was fine. That was. So, I mean, it's a little bit convoluted, but overall, they didn't believe that most of it was intentional because a lot of the other 2 charges it was intentional. It was planned. It was motivated. These things happen the moment, again, bad relationship, horrible relationship. It sounds like he has some ego issues. We know that before when he actually auditioned for Kang the Conqueror. We talked about this. He actually walked out of his audition because he said they took too long to bring him into the room and they called him back, which as an actor, I mean, that's ballsy as fuck. And it worked for him. He got the job. But I think Marvel's probably regretting that right now because they part ways immediately. Now, of course, there have been the rumblings they might fire him for a long time. Kang didn't perform the way they thought he would, but I think at this point is just too much of a mess. And so they probably had this letter written before today actually came out, and they let him go. And they were talking about before, but Jabari actually has her protection order is still in place. The judge actually renewed that after this came forward, so she would be protected because you never know what could happen. He didn't look at anybody. He didn't have any reaction. Apparently, Jonathan Majors, he just stared at the jury and then he walked out. So he had his Bible. It's big. It's big. Honestly, he lost. And I said this before the air. I am not in shock or surprised over this verdict, Kevin Davis said. I'm not either. And I'm not trying to gloat. We talked about it before we thought it was going to happen. Those text messages were damaging. It sounds like they had a very toxic relationship. It sounds like he has some ego issues. And also, I know we've had people on the show say that maybe it's steroids. He did get a lot bigger. Maybe something happened there. But regardless of all of that shit, I just think that it was a toxic relationship and it got out of control and he let his temper get out of control and he did abuse her. It happened. You see the pictures, you see the text messages, you see her trying to cover up for him. End of the day, it's a logistic matter for Marvel and they had to let him go. And they were going to pay him $20 million a movie, everybody. He was on scale for Loki and all this, and he was about to go his whole bracket for everything moving forward, and he lost all that. So his career, pretty damned. It's pretty damned. I guess the Bible didn't really work out, Edward says. Well, it doesn't always work out for everybody. But, it is sad. I'm going to say it's sad for Marvel fans. It's sad for if for Disney, but it's great for Grace, because I don't think that she wanted to say anything. It didn't seem like it. They were trying to put her out there as like she's trying to ruin his career, trying to ruin his life. He's suicidal as he's texting her how he's going to kill himself the whole time. So for me, if your whole defense is she's suicidal, I'm not, and it comes forward that you're actually the person saying I'm going to kill myself over and over again, and then she's saying I don't want to do this, and you're trying to it's like they were trying to hide it, and they want this case thrown out multiple times, and I think at the end of the day, I hope that she can get some rest and she's going to be okay. And I hope that we can move on from this and learn from it. And hopefully this doesn't happen again. Anybody, regardless, it does happen all the time. I just hope this shit can stop in the world as it is. But we hear about this. And of course, it's not the best news report, and it is breaking news. But Sabrina, are you surprised? And do you think this was a good move by Marvel logistically to come so fast forward to be like, he's fired, he's done, goodbye, Kang the Conqueror?
I mean, we've been hashtagging Denzel Washington for Kang for a really long time. So
we have been.
No, I'm not super upset. Everything I read about it when this like first happened, and obviously you're innocent until proven guilty, and all of the things, but like everything that I read about it, all signs pointed to not good for him. They were split, which is good for him because he could have got convicted of all 4 counts. Also, like, who premeditatedly like abuses their spouse? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, they're like, oh, when she gets home tonight, I'm going to punch her in the face, and then I'm going to drag her into, like, it doesn't make any sense to me to even, like, how is that? I don't know. That was weird to me that they're like, it wasn't intentional. No shit. Crimes of passion are never intentional. Like, shit happens and you get upset, and that's what that's it. It happens. Yeah. Like, I don't know how that distinction is made in something that is like so fiery and intense and in the moment. She is a tiny little thing. So for him to, toss her in the back of the car, like I think they said that he tossed her like a football. She is a tiny little thing. You know what I mean? Like, she's fucking tiny. And I feel so bad that like she, endured that for years. And like, and I'm glad that she got some justice, even though it didn't seem like she wanted it. She didn't want any part of this, I don't think. And that's why
she tried to run.
That's why I believed her also. And like someone was like, well, why is she chasing him for 5 blocks? I'm like, well, you get in a fight with your boyfriend and they throw you in the back of the car. Why wouldn't you chase them for 5? Who doesn't do that? Are you like, okay, cool, we'll just figure that out tomorrow? Like, no, I would be chasing your ass in 5 seconds. Like, that's why I'm like, no, you listen to me, motherfucker. Like, it's not like all of the evidence was very superficial, in my opinion, on their side. And the text messages that came from the UK were super fucking damning. I'm not surprised at all. I am glad that he was convicted. I'm not trying to fire anybody from anything, especially in today's fucking climate, but like, sorry, bro, you fucked up. You should have been better. You should have been smarter. And also, tons of people that went to school with him at Yale, tons of people that worked with him in the theater, in the city. A lot of people said that he was super fucking abusive as a human being. Directors have come out and said that he was abusive, like that. And so I really don't think that people, yeah, absolutely. Edward Hyde. Absolutely. 100. And also he was using the fact that her last boyfriend killed himself. So
that was fucking rough too.
He was throwing that in her face. If you do this, I'm going to kill myself. If you do that, I'm going to kill myself. So that's a trauma point for her. And he used that as a manipulation fucking tactic, which is super fucked up. Like, I have zero respect or worry or shit fucking give-alls about what the fuck this guy is going to do with his fucking career or his time. And if he fucking Kevin Spacey's himself out of it at some point, I don't fucking care. You should have been fucking better. And especially with the trajectory of his career as it was going, he could have fucking got his shit together and not been the cunt that he was for the past fucking however many years. But he didn't. So sorry, I don't feel bad for you. You made your bed, lie in it, motherfucker.
And that whole thing too, it was fucking upsetting. I don't know if you saw that, Rachel, but it was like they made her cry on the stand because they were pushing about her ex-boyfriend who killed himself. I don't know if that's funny, but
No, I'm sorry, but Zach said it's funny.
But crimes of passion are too intense. I can tell. You can put it in a hole in the barbecue. Okay, I don't know. Okay,
it's fucking funny. It's a joke. He's a stand-up comedian. It's funny.
I know, but I know.
Don't be serious. Jesus fuck, that was funny and well timed. Zach, thank you.
But on a serious note, though, like the fact that during the whole thing, Rachel, like they were grilling her. The defense was grilling her and being like about the whole suicide thing, about how she's suicidal. That's what it is. Didn't your boyfriend kill himself, and you're going to kill yourself too because of all that? And she literally broke down in tears and ran out of the court because she couldn't handle it. She tried to actually leave the country to go. She's from the UK, and they brought her back. The DA brought her back because they knew about these charges. So that's why they had this whole thing where his defense was saying, well, because this is all planned by the DA, is trying to take down. And of course, they played the race card, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that happens sometimes. But to me, it just seemed like she wanted nothing to do about this. And whatever happened, it was toxic. It was bad. And I think she didn't want this to happen. And it happened. But are you surprised that Marvel acted the way they did? And do you think that when you hear about these facts, do you think that this makes sense? I mean, of course, in a time like this, we're not lawyers, none of that, but like it probably, I mean, I get it wasn't intentional. Maybe he wasn't thinking in the moment, but does this kind of make more sense with what do you think the jury was trying to say for a verdict that, yes, there was assault, but it wasn't intentional? And you think that Marvel maybe reacted the right way?
From the very first time we talked about all of this a few months ago, and we saw those text messages that him and his
and Grace were doing,
now ex-girlfriend were.
He also, like, here, Rachel, before I don't want to cut you off, but he also said on the 911 call, because he called, he's like, oh, it's my ex-girlfriend, and like they literally were just together that night, and he's like throwing ex-girlfriend on the 911 call. Kind of weird, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah. But they, from the minute I read those text messages, I was like, this guy absolutely did everything that they're saying he did. Like, when you live so long and you experience so many things, you start to notice patterns in things. And the way he was speaking to her, yeah. And I think between those text messages, the UK text messages, all of the evidence, his team should not have pushed her to the point where they were allowed to use the UK evidence, because I think that really kind of was the linchpin and everything, and that was the evidence that just could not be ignored in setting all of this up. So his team fucked up. He fucked up. Marvel did the right thing. I feel really bad for Grace because this is not going to be over for her anytime soon. Unfortunately, there is going to be a subsection of fans of Marvel and of this actor who are going to blame her for him losing his role. They're going to come after her. They are going to harass her. She's not done. He's going to blame her. So she has still quite a lot of stress and quite a lot of turmoil to go through until she's done with this. And I think that's really unfortunate that she had to go through all of this and still does not get to rest and still does not get to be free from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really just truly horrifically unfortunate. I don't think he's going to learn fucking anything. I think Majors is going to come away from this and say, oh, well, that bitch just screwed me over. And he's not going to learn a damn thing, because people like that do not learn.
In the meantime, he's already married someone and is bringing a Bible to court. Obviously, he didn't learn anything.
Yeah, Megan Good.
I didn't know he was married.
Oh, yeah.
This just happened.
Yep, in 5 minutes, he's now married.
He's calling her the missus.
He's carrying a Bible with him.
He's trying to revive his PR image.
It's a prop. Yeah, but he also, they say he's a very religious person. I don't know. But the Megan Good thing, like Megan Good was there by his side the whole time. Like right after this got done, he started dating her. She's in the Shazam movies. You've seen her around. She's a good actor. And I think that whatever happened, they fell, whatever it is, but it's also weird.
She does not have to experience what this other young lady experienced.
Oh, me fucking too. I hope they're just friends and she's doing it as a favor. I hope it's not real.
Yeah.
I really hope
There have been rumors they got married and he's calling her the missus and all this stuff, which, they've been only together for a few months. So I don't know. They started dating right after this. Like this happened in March. They started dating in like May. So it hasn't been that long. So it may be. But then again, he was texting a girl called Cleopatra in his phone. And I'm like, was that Megan Good?
Right.
She should have named her Doug. Like, who names the Cleopatra? Like, what are you doing, bud?
Cleopatra. Yeah,
I 100% think that Marvel had this paperwork drawn up from the moment the first story came out. They were ready. They had the paperwork. They were just waiting for the final verdict so they could say, hey, he violated his ethics clause in his contract.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay him shit. Bye, buddy.
But
Said to Brian,
Bye, Felicia.
You're guilty, you're done.
Yeah, GR, is that how you feel about this? Do you think that Marvel made the right choice to fire him so swiftly?
No doubt about it. But someone in the comments asked, do you think he'll ever get hired again?
Edward, yeah.
Maybe a year, maybe 6 months. But somebody will hire him.
Not that soon.
I think he'll get hired again, though.
What he is a guy that needs some serious help. She does
100%.
too.
34 years old, 34 years old, peak of your career.
Brian, it happens at all ages.
Yeah.
People that have these problems, his is anger management and hers self-esteem, they both need professional help to get over this problem.
Yeah.
And I hope they
Eventually.
both get it.
I don't feel sorry for him, Queen.
I don't feel sorry for him. I just said he needs help.
I feel sorry for the situation. I don't feel sorry for him. I think he did everything fucking wrong in this. Like, I think that he was at the top of the world. You know what? Top of the world. And something happened in September. Something happened in September. And whatever happened, if it was, I'll be a conspiracy theorist. Maybe Disney covered it up. It happened while he was shooting on Loki. There was a police report. There was a hospitalization. There are these text messages. It was all swept under the rug. In London, that's what came out. It was in London. He was shooting Loki. They were doing reshoots of Loki season 2, and it happened. And then those are all those damning messages that came out during the trial. And his lawyers literally said it will be damning if this stuff gets out from London. The jury will never let him go. This cannot be part of this trial. And for me, I'm like,
they open that door.
Then they open the door themselves and let it happen.
Hardcore.
But for me, it's like, as a human
Terrible
being,
lawyers.
if something like that happens, it sounds like, because she said she was going to lie to it because he abused her and it happened once, and then you let it happen again. It's like, hey, you are an idiot. You're an idiot. If something happened one time, you two should be like, this is a bad relationship. We can't do this anymore. Let it go. Let it go. But they didn't. And he did something again. And so here's where we're at. But it's unfortunate, everybody. It's very unfortunate. It's big breaking news. And I'm upset for what it means for movies always, because I know people did love Kang the Conqueror, and I think that we have a better choice in Denzel, though. We should have got Denzel before. Throw Denzel in there, age him up.
What did he do that was so great as Kang? Like, honestly, I'm not saying he's not a good actor, and he has done other roles that were
He
good.
was
But
kind of there.
Kang
Just
was
kind of there.
What he took like William Shatner fucking pauses between every goddamn fucking line. It was like distracting and annoying. Like the only part of Quantumania that like I felt like he was actually like successful in his portrayal was when he was with what's her name, gorgeous Scarface, Michelle Pfeiffer. Thank you. She like when they were like having their like not romantic, but like kind of like insinuating romanticism, and they were trying to fix the thing to make the thing go. And like before she knew anything, like that was the only time that he was believable. Because every other time, to me, he was overacting. It was all just it was so contrived. Like when he was with her, he was just being an actor. He was like, okay, I'm like this person. I'm trying to get this person to do what I want. It wasn't so specifically like to whatever he decided that Kang's character was, and I believed it. It's the only thing I believed in that whole fucking movie. And this Loki second season, Jesus fuck, dude, I couldn't even stand for him to be on screen. I couldn't wait for him to evaporate. Unbelievable.
Evaporate, which kind of what happens in the show. But Kang is better on Avengers, Earth, Mightiest Heroes. Yeah, I mean, they were trying to make some different. Kang was going to be a bigger storyline. Marvel's already been saying stuff before. They're going to start to phase out Kang because of the box office numbers weren't as good were his performance. They still say they loved it, so they want to continue forward. But I think that at the end of the day, regardless of all of this, that's just something they're just trying to cover their tracks some more. It's damning for Disney. Disney is not Warner Brothers. With the Ezra Miller stuff, they're not Warner Brothers. They're Mickey Mouse. They have a family brand, and they will not allow something like this to stand for it. And now that Bob Iger's back, he definitely wouldn't. So I think that once this happened, like we said in the show a million times, his days were numbered at Disney. So it's unfortunate for fans, but it was necessary for the brand and the franchise, and it was necessary for Grace Jabari, who did not want this at all, I think. And all people out there that are fighting for him, I get it. You love him. You think that he was wrong. I understand. Everyone has their opinions. End of the day, this is not a good business move to keep him on board for Disney. And I think that there is justification in this actual verdict. And we'll talk about on February 6th, when the actual sentencing goes down, what happens to him. He could serve up to a year in jail. Again, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that's a fairy tale world. He still has lots of money.
Too much money for that.
Yep. I think he's gonna just disappear for a while. And I think he'll eventually come back, maybe. But honestly, this is at a point where he could have gone bigger. And I think that he wasn't Kevin Spacey, who will come back. He was somebody that could have gone, but did not. And that's unfortunate. But you know what? You dig your own grave, man. So, Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors is no more.
Yo, player, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pep Star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.